Welcome to our executive interview series at the Trellix Cybersecurity Summit presented by FedScoop and CyberScoop. I'm Wyatt Cash, and we're here with Steve Weis, Vice President of Mission Support at Asc3nd Technologies Group. Steve, thanks so much for joining us.
Wyatt, thanks for having me.
I'd like to start by asking, what are the biggest challenges that you're seeing public sector agencies facing in defending against the expanding attack surface across enterprises and also the extended software supply chain?
It's a great question, Wyatt, and thanks for having me again. But at the end of the day, I think the public sector in itself is probably the most challenging, right? You've got a lot of siloed directorates, a lot of siloed branches. You've got legacy software systems. You've got an enormous size and scale of a lot of these agencies. They've got to modernize. You've got to move to the cloud. You've got to be able to work in ZTN. You've got the compliance issues. But you don't see a whole lot of young, innovative technology personnel coming in. So you've got a shortage on the tech intelligence that's really in. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really smart people within the public sector, but how do you manage that? A lot of times they'll come in, they'll find better jobs to get outside in the commercial sector. But you've got mandates. You've got about 40 to 60% with contractors. So you just don't have as many government personnel as well. So there is, we could go down the rat hole and talk a lot about, acquisition reform and how those things are moving along. Let's talk about what's happening today. Are we going to get a CR passed? We've got two parts of Congress. We've got the Senate coming back today. We've got Wednesday. We've got till the end of the week here. So I think a lot of folks don't understand that each one of these directorates and branches has got to put together COAs, or courses of action. As soon as they hear wind that there is a continuing resolution, they're not doing their daily jobs. They've got to put together lots of processes, just what's in case there. So the other piece of it is there's a ton of storage coming, about 20% year over year. There's more data being generated, right? How do you want to use AI? But the biggest thing I think of all of those is the lack of interoperability. If you think about a directorate or a branch kind of doing their own thing with this technology need, and where is the governance from that agency? Where is the governance, and how quickly can NIST and the federal government put their mandates together? Is it going to be coming from CISA or on the DoD side with NIST? So at the end of the day, interoperability and governance of all of those, which is a lot. This is why I've dedicated about 26, 27 years of my career to try to help solve some of these problems.
And then, as you know, cloud is a big factor in the attack surface expansion. How are public sector agencies increasing cloud services and making real-time cybersecurity and threat detection easier? Or potentially, how is the cloud also making it harder?
Oh, that's a great question. So your key word is real-time. At the end of the day, if I've got disparate legacy systems that are on-prem, can I move them to the cloud? Can I take some of these mainframes and move them to the cloud, these transactions? Some of them, yes. Two, you're going to have disparate systems. So where's that baseline, the interoperability? A lot of people talk about tagging. The rise of the CDO, I think, is really, really important. But when you're tagging something today, that's a snapshot of today. You tag it with the information in the context that you have that information. So down the road, when I want to do AI and ML on that, what's going to happen? So don't get me wrong, I think tagging's solid. I think it's a great start. But at the end of the day, you've got each one of these disparate directorates kind of doing their own thing without interoperability, without governance. Now it's moving to the cloud. So you've got, on average, this is a Palo Alto report, there's 80% of security exposures in the cloud, misconfiguration, shared responsibility, shadow IT. There's inherent internet connections. But the key is they're changing 20% every month. So how do I take a look at what I have on-prem? How do I take a look at what's hybrid, what's going up into the cloud, and how do I monitor all of that? So really the four key pieces there are going to be traffic, latency, errors, and load. So I need to monitor all of that. Now, should I choose one hyperscaler to do that? Should I do multiple hyperscalers? And then how many people can keep up with that, right? Do I have the tech resources to go ahead and manage that? So you're in really a dynamic where, should I outsource that? The MSP model might be good. Push that responsibility over and let the agency kind of stay focused. I see a big push there. But a lot of people, because especially in the DoD, when you're aisle 5 and 6, nipper sipper, these secret, you really can't push those out. A lot of them are moving. I think the intelligence community did a really good job with C2S on pushing to the edge a few years ago, is kind of move that forward. But a lot of challenges. Again, I think it's back to interoperability and governance, and the same thing has to happen. Throw in ZTN. I think this will solve a lot of issues, but it's going to take a long time to get the zero trust initiatives rolled out through the agencies.
Well, Steve Weis, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us here at the Trellix Cybersecurity Summit.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.